Tonight, a 14-year-old boy dies of an overdose. Now a 19-year-old is charged with manslaughter. That story, and
it came as another shock and I would suggest another Liberal scandal.
The opposition responds with outrage, and now the Premier is walking back a controversial new severance policy for cabinet ministers.
A lot more devastation compared to the last few days. There's more cabins gone. Fire is starting back up, and the wind was hitting it. You could watch it flaring up. The water bombers are working hard. They're all fighting it.
As the Chance Harbor fire continues to rage on, we'll have the latest on the 8 active wildfires across the province.
The St. John's Pride Festival is in full swing, and organizers say there is no going back on the progress made towards 2S LGBTQ rights. I'll have that story coming up.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. A 19-year-old man has been charged in the death of a 14-year-old boy. In March, the teen was found unresponsive in a Mount Pearl home and pronounced dead in hospital. Since then, the RNC determined the teenager ingested pills believed to be Xanax and Dilaudid, but actually contained a deadly concoction of synthetic opioids. Police raided a house in St. John's and found quantities of several illegal drugs. Now, a 19-year-old is charged with manslaughter, criminal negligence causing death, trafficking a controlled substance, and possession of cocaine, ketamine, and phenazolam. The RNC are also warning about the dangers of phenazolam. Police say the pill is being sold as Xanax, but is much more dangerous and possibly fatal. In other news, there is a big change in policy sparked by a story CBC News broke this morning. CBC reported about a new cash benefit for departing cabinet ministers, quietly brought into effect just months before a provincial election. Now, the story generated public controversy, and late in the day, a decision by the Premier to rescind that new allowance. The CBC's Rob Antle walks us through the details.
A new transitional allowance policy for ministers came into effect April 1st, just months before a scheduled provincial election. The decision could put tens of thousands of dollars in the pockets of some departing ministers on their way out the door. The province's Executive Council confirmed the new policy only after CBC News asked about it. Here's how it breaks down. The allowance only applies to the ministerial portion of their salary, which is just over $48,000 a year. Departing ministers are eligible for 1 month's salary for each year they served in cabinet, a minimum payment of 3 months and a maximum of a year. Payouts range from around 12 to 48 grand. Executive Council won't say when the decision was made to implement the new policy, because Cabinet made the decision, and Cabinet deliberations are protected. The Premier's office sent a statement Thursday evening, saying Premier Hogan wasn't in Cabinet when the decision was made, and he was not involved in the decision.
Well, I think that's a cop-out, because let's face it, he became the Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. He would be well aware of a decision made by Cabinet. He would have had ample time between when that decision was made and today to have done something about it. He didn't do anything about it. And as a result of that, we're sitting here today with another Liberal scandal.
Both opposition leaders say the decision should be reversed, pointing towards concerns in the province about the cost of living.
If they can make this decision to give it to themselves, they can make the decision to rescind it. But the other part of it is, how many times have I heard from various ministers, about whether it's removing the HST of home heating? No, that's not something we can do that easily. And yet here in a meeting, you can make such decisions that will benefit themselves.
Late this afternoon, after all that controversy, a big reversal. Premier Hogan posted on Facebook that Cabinet had convened this afternoon and made a decision to immediately rescind that policy. Hogan said on Facebook that he only learned about this from the media and acted quickly after that. Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
update on the wildfire situation across the province. Today, there are 8 active fires, down from 9 fires yesterday. All are currently contained, with the exception of the Chance Harbour fire, which is still out of control. Here and Now's Julia Israel has been following today's developments. So, Julia, what's the latest?
That's right, Carolyn. As things stand right now, 7 of the 8 active fires from yesterday are currently being held under control, with Chance Harbour being the only one which is currently out of control. In Chance Harbour, heavy resources are still on the ground, including 3 water bombers, a bird dog, and 3 helicopters. Officials say the fire grew by 100 hectares yesterday. The ground crew is also installing a sprinkler system today to prevent the fires spreading to the community. In Small Point, the situation is under control. Yesterday, 1 water bomber, 1 helicopter, and a ground crew responded to the fire. Right now, there are 4 firefighters on the ground who are working on hotspots, but they say further risk to the region is very low. For Northwest Brook, Lewisport, Gander, Ridge Road, and 2 fires in Labrador, the fires are currently being held and do not pose a risk. This afternoon, I spoke with Forestry Minister Lisa Dempster, who gave me the full update. She says the province-wide fire ban is still in place and that diligence is necessary.
It's been a very active fire season thus far this year. We've had 169 fires, and that compares with only 51 fires up to this time last year. I do think it's important to note that despite almost triple the number of forest fires, we have had much less hectares burned. And I believe that speaks to the efficiency of the team, whether it's the pilots, the crews, the fire behavioral specialists. It's quick, coordinated approaches on those fires. And so we've had less hectares burned last year, of course.
The fire in Small Point has residents in the area on edge, and as you'll recall, it was just a couple of months ago that a fire in nearby Adams Cove destroyed 12 homes and dozens of other buildings in the community. So yesterday, after we got that news that a fire had broken out, myself and CBC reporter Jessica Singer drove to Small Point to find out how people are feeling.
It's almost 10 p.m. on Thursday night. Susan Rose and Faye Short are busy making cold-cut sandwiches at the old Adams Cove School. The Heritage Building is used as a gathering place for the community, including in times of emergency. These snacks are for forestry and fire crews who are busy fighting a wildfire that broke out earlier in the afternoon. Although the sun has set, the day is far from over.
A lot of us won't be sleeping tonight, I can guarantee you that. Yeah. So I'm feeling very sad about that. Yeah, that's the best way to describe my feeling.
Crews are continuing to monitor the wildfire. Only 1 shed was lost and no homes were damaged. This time, they're lucky, because a few months ago, things were different. A wildfire in May caused mass destruction in the Adams Cove area. 12 homes were lost, along with 45 other structures.
There's been several fires up around here that actually
Robert Hudson nearly lost his home in that fire. He's lived in the community for most of his life, and he says there's been an unusual amount of fire this spring. Along with the 2 wildfires, residents say there's been a handful of smaller fires that fortunately didn't grow into something bigger. We drove through some of the trailway system in Small Point, Adams Cove, Blackhead, Broad Cove. Hudson says the fires all seem to start in the same area along the tracks, within around 6 kilometers of one another. They also seem to begin at the same time.
You know, it kind of beats the odds on why are we having 7 fires in a small area in a small town where it's not happening anywhere else. It's only due to the rapid response that we haven't had some major catastrophes, and it came very close several times this year.
Resident Wanda Crocker says she's fed up and terrified. She says people are living in fear, anticipating when they'll next hear the fire sirens.
You know, I chose to live in this beautiful, peaceful town that has been completely turned upside down. And I feel like it needs to be taken really seriously. I feel, and I'm going to come out and say it, I feel like we have an arsonist in this town. and it needs to be investigated.
In a statement, the RCMP says Thursday's fire is under investigation. It's asking anyone with information to contact Harbour Grace RCMP. The force also pointed to a press release it put out in June about a series of brush fires in the area. At the time, RCMP said there's no evidence the fires were set intentionally, but investigations are ongoing. Jessica Singer, CBC News, Small Point.
Well, coming up later on the show, we'll have more on the Chance Harbor fire with Ryan Pitts, a man who's witnessed the destruction firsthand. Well, in other news, an air and water search has ended for a woman who may have fallen overboard from the MV Blue Petite earlier this week. The 41-year-old was last seen on board the ferry around 3:30 Wednesday morning as it traveled from North Sydney to Porto. The RCMP, along with the Joint Rescue Coordination Centre and Coast Guard, concentrated their search in the water south of Porto Point. Now, this morning, a spokesperson from the JRCC confirmed that the search has been called off. The situation is now being investigated as a missing persons case with the RCMP. And a 24-year-old man has been arrested for possession of explosives. The RCMP say the man went to a Bay Roberts business earlier this month and threatened to blow it up. Officers arrested him at the scene and searched his home and car. They found chemicals and other materials to build homemade explosives, but no assembled devices. The man is now facing a wide array of charges related to explosives. And in other news, the St. John's Pride Parade is coming up this weekend as part of the ongoing Pride Festival. And while the past week has been filled with colorful celebration, organizers say it's also a time to advocate for progress. The CBC's Abby Cole has that story.
I'm here on Water Street for the St. John's Pride Festival, where drag performers have taken over in a celebration that anyone can enjoy. This year, the theme is No Going Back. St. Clair says this is because of rising hate against transgender people, including Alberta's recently passed Education Amendment Act that prohibits teachers from using students' preferred names and correct pronouns, which he says puts young transgender people at risk.
When you talk to trans people in Alberta, a lot of them talk about what's your timeline. What's your how much longer do you have here before you think that you're going to have to leave? And that's a very real conversation that Canadians are having, that people who live here, who work here, who build their lives here, that's a real conversation that they're having about the safety of the places in which they live.
And in this province, the recent vandalism of a Pride sidewalk in Grand Falls, Windsor, is raising alarms.
People are feeling emboldened, that bigots are feeling like, and whether it's that they're getting affirmation from different social media channels or different networks, but they're starting to act outwardly. And I mean, there has to be a lot more conversations about, well, how do queer people feel in this province? And is Newfoundland and Labrador a place that can position themselves as, we're a place where we really accept all people and that we're really welcoming of all people?
But drag performers are not letting the haters dampen their spirits.
I'm really into the theme of no going back. Over the last several years, I've been kind of discovering myself, and I enjoy Pride because I get to be whatever aspect of myself I want to be.
We are moving forward. There's so much going on in politics and the political climate of trans rights, queer rights, so we're definitely not going back, and we will always be here, and we're always moving forward.
This Sunday, the streets of downtown St. John's will be filled with rainbows and celebration, and what organizers say could be the biggest Pride Parade yet. Abby Cole, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, it was a big week for some young soccer fans in St. John's. Portuguese soccer team FC Porto hosted a camp at the Fieldians Athletics Association, offering local players some world-class tips on sport.
Looks like a nice day there for the kids, and we had some beautiful temperatures across the island into the upper 20s through much of central, and for the south coast 18-19 degrees, so much cooler and cooler yet again across Labrador. Heat warning, that is gone. We still have a rainfall warning in effect in parts of Labrador where you saw about 40 to 60 already today. What is on the way? Well, we'll talk about that coming up. Some showers, smoke, and some sun.
Well, returning now to the wildfire in Chance Harbor on the Bonavista Peninsula, which has been burning out of control since Monday. The area is cabin country, and while there's been no official word yet on how many cabins have been damaged or destroyed in the fire, Ryan Pitts has been watching the devastation unfold firsthand. He's been out in his boat on the water around Chance Harbor this week, taking videos and helping all of us see what's happening. And he joins me now from his home in Cannings Cove. Thank you so much for being here.
Not a problem.
So the fire is still burning out of control. Can you tell us what you were seeing out there today?
A lot more devastation compared to the last few days. There's more cabins gone. Fire is starting back up, and the wind was hitting it. You could watch it flaring up. The water bombers are working hard. They're all fighting it. I know they're doing the best, but on the other hand, sometimes it looks like a losing battle. But they're keeping it at bay from the communities for sure. But unfortunately, with the way the winds are, it's taking a toll on the cabin country out there.
Yeah, I guess that's one good thing, is that it hasn't spread to the community yet. But do you have a sense of the scale of the destruction and how many cabins have been lost?
Oh, I'd say we're heading towards 40 now for sure, easily. There's one cove, there's only 3 left. There was 10 roughly. Another cove, there was 21. They're all gone. It's definitely not over, and we're definitely not at the woods yet.
Yeah, and we've been hearing that the fire did grow a little bit overnight, and that's what you're seeing, hey, that it does seem to be getting bigger.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it went so fast Monday when it started. It went down across the country so fast that there's a lot of country in there that's not burned yet. So it's like it's lighting up even where it already burned. So there's a lot of fuel in there for it already. A lot more fuel left in there for it as well.
Mm-hmm. And what have people been doing to try to save their cabins or their belongings from their cabins? What have you been observing while you're out there?
Oh, there's been people been going and getting what they can out of their cabins. There's 3 or 4 families for sure. They've been down there since this started. And as long as they can do it safely, they've been at their cabins fighting with pumps. I know one family for sure they told me today they got 300 feet of hose, and they're after going 300 feet from the salt water around their cabin with spraying everything down and getting all the hot spots. And they've been there pretty well nonstop every day since the fire started, saving what they can. I know they caught one cabin, the post of the cabin caught on fire, and they caught it, put it out to save that cabin. So Newfoundlanders are fighters. They're fighting, and they're doing what they can to save what's left out there for sure.
What have you been hearing from people in the area about what this loss means?
Oh, it's devastating. We got families. Most of the cabin owners in that area are retired. One family in particular was just getting ready to finish their time at the cabin and hand it over to their son, who's getting ready to retire himself. So, and now that's all gone. Nothing left to pass down. And some of these cabins are nicer than a lot of homes. I mean, over the years, it's just been done, upgraded, and none of them were built overnight. They put years and years of hard work, saving up little bits over the years as they can to get enough money to build these cabins, or cut your logs yourself and build them. So a lot of hard work, a lot of generational memories, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of stuff, a lot of memories, a lot of stuff gone. Gonna be a lot different looking out over the water here, that's for sure.
What's the range of emotions that you're hearing from people?
Everything. You got people that are angry, people are upset, some people are fighting. I got my uncle. I spoke to him, and as soon as you mentioned to him, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm building another cabin. Next spring I'm going down and starting over again. So I think everyone is handled differently, but there's a lot of it's understandably there's a lot of anger. Some people feel like it could have been prevented, but it's hindsight is 20/20.
All right. Well, Ryan Pitts, we really appreciate you updating us again and for just being out there and documenting what's happening and helping us all understand the scale of the situation. Really appreciate it. And we'll have our fingers crossed that this gets resolved soon. Thank you.
Yes, not a problem. And I just want to say a big thanks again to everyone. Our firefighters are all volunteers. They've been out since Monday when this started, fighting the fire and haven't taken a break. And the water bombers, the helicopters, everything that's working out there. Big thanks to everyone for what they're doing.
Some relief today from the heat that we saw yesterday.
That's right. Yesterday, well, it was still pretty warm today, but yesterday was a record-breaking day for sure, and we do have some records to tell you about. So let's start to take a look at those. So we've got Terra Nova here, 33.6. That is your new record, beating the old one by, just a sliver. However, this is your new record for July, for all of July. It's the hottest day on record for any July day in Terra Nova. And then if we take a look at these areas as well, in Badger, you set a new record for July as well, 34.9 degrees, so almost 35 degrees, beating the old record of 33.3 from 1972. Not only is this your hottest day from July, it's the hottest day on record for Badger. So quite a warm day right across the province if you look at all of those records, really just spanning much of the island. Taking a look at our current temps and humidex now, we do see it's still feeling like 30-ish into the center part of the island. A little bit cooler for the south coast and cooler yet again up through parts of Labrador. Taking a look at our satellite radar now, we do see some showers moving across the northern peninsula and the west coast. We could see some thunder showers in here as well. Taking a look at our future tracker right now, what we'll see for the evening is these showers moving from west to east across the island. We had a lot of heavy rain through much of southern Labrador. It's starting to move offshore now, but it will stick around for northern Labrador from rain and Nain, they rhyme, sticking around for you folks. So as we go into the overnight, we'll see some clearing here and things will clear out for the island. But again, that rain sticking around for northern Labrador, clearing out last there for eastern parts of the Avalon Peninsula. Taking a look at tonight now, temperatures into the mid-teens for much of the island. We will see rain about 5 to 10 for the south coast, the Burin and Canagra, 5 to 10 for the west coast as well, and a little bit more rain for the northern peninsula there as well. We could see some of those thunder showers right across the province, but more likely in the western part, and we saw that with the red bits there when we were looking at the future tracker. Through Labrador, temperatures down into the single digits tonight, where we could see some showers across the Big Land as well. And of course, that rain 10 to 25 millimeters sticking around for the northern part of Labrador there. Moving on now to Saturday morning when we wake up on the island, it's going to be a nice morning for sure. We're going to have a blue sky day. After those showers move off, we're going to have some drier air move in and it'll be much less humid. Still some cloud and showers possible though across Labrador. But as we go into the afternoon, we'll see some clouds starting to approach the island as well as we go into the evening hours and some showers across Labrador tomorrow. This is what I'm talking about when we're talking about the more pleasant temperatures, the dew point dropping back, meaning we'll have less humidity and moisture in the air, so it'll feel a lot more comfortable as we go on into Sunday. Taking a look at our wind now, it'll be gusty this evening, but things will start to lessen there a little bit as we go into Saturday as well. Taking a look at our provincial forecast tomorrow, back into the mid-20s for much of central Newfoundland. We'll see some sun and cloud, just a little bit of cloud, really just a beautiful day in store for much of the island. Cooler for the southern Avalon and just about 20-21 for the south and southwest coasts. Up into Labrador, looking like a lovely day there. For Lab West, 16 degrees. You will see a possible shower. So showers across Labrador into the single digits in the north, but into the teens and 20s for the south part of Labrador. I'll have your long range forecast later in the show.
Thanks so much, Heather. Well, some young soccer players in St. John's are getting professional level training this week. Coaches from the Portuguese soccer team FC Porto hosted their World Camp at the Fieldians Athletics Association. The CBC's Madison Taylor has that story.
Some St. John's soccer players had the opportunity of a lifetime this week, with training from one of the most decorated clubs in Portuguese soccer.
This isn't your ordinary week at camp. Coaches from Portuguese soccer team FC Porto brought their World Camp to town. Excited kids from the Fieldian Athletics Association spent the week training drills, developing skills and playing games. Anticipation for the camp built quickly, with registrations filling up in just 25 minutes. Organiser and coach Sipo Sabia says bringing these camps to different communities means a lot to the club.
I want to be able to put Newfoundland on the map, especially Fieldians Athletic Association, where I'm a part of now. So we're excited to have that partnership, and we're looking forward to more partnerships with that.
FC Porto's visit to St. John's builds on the historic connection to the fishing industry, shared by Portugal and this province.
There's not much opportunity to do this when we are fishing, and there is always time to play. Football is a favorite sport with us.
Now that I've known that the kind of history that Portugal's had with Newfoundland, it's even a greater collaboration, a greater fantastic to tie that piece together as well.
Some of the camp's coaching team travelled all the way here from Porto for the camp.
The culture here, people are really humble, they are really nice. I've been enjoying a lot working with these people and getting to know the culture itself.
And the kids are showing the coaches what Newfoundlanders are made of.
They've been perfect with us, staff coming from other city. It's been really good.
And on top of the opportunity to learn from the pros, at the end of the week, 2 lucky players will be picked for an all-expenses-paid trip to Portugal, where they'll train with FC Porto's youth academy. It's a huge stepping stone for the players, especially those who want to make it to the big league someday.
That's kind of the hope, that somebody from here can sign a pro contract, and that's what we want to be able to see.
The players have been working hard to improve their soccer, but also showing their skills in the hopes of being selected for the trip.
I'm trying my best to get it, but I would be grateful whoever also got it, but I'm trying my best and I would be really excited to get it.
I'll be really happy because I really want to play professional in soccer.
The collaboration is one that both the club and the players hope to see continue into the future.
I hope Porto will come back next year to do it again.
After a week of training and soccer tips with professionals, it's clear that this is an experience that these young athletes won't soon forget. Madison Taylor, CBC News, St. John's.
And we do have a little update. This afternoon, organizers announced the names of the 2 local players who will be heading to the Porto Youth Academy. So congratulations to William Coughlin, who you saw there, and Georgia Kavanaugh for landing those spots.
feeling that, you know, you can't beat. The energy rushing through your body is just crazy.
I like being the flyer. You just go through the air. There's so many different things you can do.
I started swimming when I was pretty young to help strengthen my back because I was born with a disability through my spine.
Get ready for the games. Starting next week on Here and Now, we'll introduce you to some of the athletes competing for Team Newfoundland and Labrador. They have heart, they have skills, and they have drive. And we have your all-access pass. That's starting next week and running all the way to the Canada Games on Here and Now. Well, there will be a future for the wooden slipway in Quidi Vidi. The aging structure has been officially closed since the fall of 2023, and some users have worried they might lose that piece of history. But in January, the City of St. John's announced $750,000 to replace the slipway. And earlier this month, geotechnical work began in the area. Advocates for the slipway say they're pleased to know the heritage structure will soon have a new life.
There's been a lot of development that's been done down in Quidi Vidi throughout the many years that we've been down here, and we haven't had a lot of consultation with the community. The community has definitely been negatively affected by a lot of the development, so it was really important to make sure that the community was heard this time and that we really safeguarded this vital piece of our community so that we didn't lose it like so many things we have down here. There's not very many wooden slipways around left in Newfoundland. From the research that I've done, they've all been kind of laid to the wayside. None of them have been upkeeped. I have actually 42 communities right now that are in need of slipways. So I just think it's really important, and that it's good for tourism as well, because it still has that cultural, historical value to it.
It's an essential piece of infrastructure, right? I mean, when we launched the consultations on this last summer to make sure that we were going to, whatever replacement was put in place here was going to suit the community's needs, they made abundantly clear to us that they wanted a replacement that was essentially the same as what was currently there. It was a crucial piece of infrastructure for their way of life, for fishing. It was support for the urban fisheries in St. John's. This is a beautiful group of people down here, and it's a jewel of our city. And I want to make sure that it's preserved, that the way of life here is preserved, and that the residents of Quidi Vidi Village can continue to express that and to enjoy that for many generations to come. $750,000 is a pretty hefty chunk of change, but it's something that we were all very happy to support to make sure that this is able to continue in the future. Tender is going out soon. That'll take, could be a month or two. My understanding is that the goal is to get work started in the fall. I think the absolute worst that you'd see on this one is that it could get pushed to a certain degree into 2026, depending on materials and labor and so on. But the goal ultimately is to get this one completed. Quickly. I don't have an absolute timeline on it at this time, but I can tell you that, like I said, the goal is to get started in the fall and finished as soon as possible.
Well, now to Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador Health Services is advising patients about phone and internet issues in northern Labrador. The health authority says it's experiencing intermittent phone and internet service issues at several healthcare facilities on the north coast. Those include the community clinics in Nain, Natwashish, Hopedale, Makkovik, and Postville. NLHS says it's working with the service provider to fix the problem, and in the meantime, it suggests anyone in need of medical services who cannot contact a clinic, they should proceed to the nearest clinic. Well, in recent weeks, there have been 2 separate random assaults on trails in St. John's. A woman was attacked by a stranger on the Virginia River Trail this week, and a man sexually assaulted a young girl on a trail last month. RNC Constable James Cadigan says attacks like this are disturbing, and he's offering some tips on how to protect yourself.
I had family members on the trail that morning, so it's important that we think about that the whole community is impacted by an event of this nature. And it's a collaborative effort when it comes to how we deal with these things. And it's about recognizing that if you see something that seems suspicious to you, report it immediately. And, in cases where we're talking about on our trails, there's, oftentimes there's lots of cover. It's, not a lot of visibility on long stretches. So it's important that, you have a cell phone with you. If you feel like there's something suspicious ongoing, you can make a quick phone call, and we want to respond. And, it's not a bad idea to have someone walking with you or running with you, and different things that we can do to protect ourselves. But at the end of the day, these events are quite rare.
Returning now to one of our top stories tonight, the Premier has cancelled a new policy that increased severance packages for ministers after CBC News reported on the previously undisclosed policy. The new allowance provided 1 month's salary for each year of service in cabinet. The policy went into effect on April 1st, and since then, 8 ministers have either already left or signaled their intentions to not run again when voters go to the polls this fall. Now, speaking before John Hogan rescinded the policy, PC leader Tony Wakeham called the situation unbelievable.
It came as another shock and I would suggest another Liberal scandal. And the reason I say that is because I think it's scandalous that a Liberal cabinet would secretly approve payouts for themselves as they leave politics or happen to lose their seats. And currently, we know of at least 8 Liberal cabinet ministers who have announced that they will not seek re-election. And just doing the math based on the story, I mean, that could be upwards of $300,000 of taxpayers' money going out secretly, again, paying themselves as they go out the door.
Political pressure is continuing to build on Donald Trump over the so-called Jeffrey Epstein files. After days of demands from supporters, Trump has directed the U.S. Attorney General to seek the release of more documents on the Epstein case. It comes as a new Wall Street Journal article alleges the U.S. president wrote the late disgraced financier a suggestive birthday letter in 2003. Trump is now threatening to sue the publication and its owners. The newspaper describes the letter as bawdy. Trump has denied writing it, calling it fake, malicious, and defamatory. Epstein was found dead in his jail cell in 2019 after his arrest on sex trafficking charges. This week marks the 1-year anniversary of what some have described as a miracle on the water. A fire on board the Elite Navigator fishing boat forced the 7 crew members to take refuge in a life raft, which drifted on the Atlantic Ocean for more than 2 days. Miraculously, they all made it home safe. The CBC's Arlette Lazarenko was in New West Valley for the Lucky Seven's emotional homecoming. Here's that story from July of last year.
In this Newfoundland fishing community, the sound of celebration, of life, and what so many here are calling a miracle. The incredible survival of the crew of the Elite Navigator, a group of men now known as the Lucky Seven.
Not just a miracle, but 7 miracles, because they were all saved.
Just days ago, so many here were gripped with fear. The boat had vanished on the water. The crew now says there was a fire, and it sank.
It was happening to us. I couldn't believe it was happening, right?
They scrambled to abandon ship. 2 crew members couldn't swim. Quick thinking got them all in a life raft, but fog complicated the search and time dragged on.
We worked well together and we took care of each other and we knew we'd get through it eventually.
I had a little bit of doubt for myself on the last night because I was wet and cold when I was getting colder and colder. I said, this is not good for me, right? But when I heard that chopper come over, I said, all the warmth was back in my body, I'll tell you that.
After nearly 3 days, the Coast Guard finally spotted the crew's last red flare.
All of a sudden, I heard the chopper turn around and the spotlight come on me, and it's just crazy.
An end to their nightmare and their families waiting at home.
I didn't have much hope, I gotta be honest.
The whole world was just taken right away from me at that time, right? And I said, oh no, they're gonna make it.
Their homecoming on Saturday was met with cheers and tears and relief. Now they are being celebrated by the Premier.
Welcome home.
And their community, who gathered by the hundreds to celebrate together and cheer on their heroes.
This is a homecoming many here will remember for a long time, and it will be marked in another way too. The Premier says the province will create some kind of a recognition, like a statue, to celebrate the safe return of the Lucky Seven. Arlette Lazarenko, CBC News, New West Valley, Newfoundland and Labrador.
and now with Glenn Tilley and Ann Budgell.
Good evening, everyone. In Newfoundland and Labrador tonight.
You gotta wait till the negotiations are over.
They use 90 to 120-foot longliners.
The center is scheduled to shut down at the end of this month.
Well, it's Friday, so let's find out who's celebrating. Happy 59th anniversary today to Thomas and Verna Moulton of St. John's. Happy anniversary to Wally and Marie Anderson of Happy Valley Goose Bay. They were married 50 years ago today. Wishing Dan and Kay Broderick from St. Brendan's a very happy 50th anniversary as well. Happy 53rd anniversary today to George and Nancy Durnford of France Way. Congratulations to Frank and Cora Douglas of Grand Bank. They're celebrating their 52nd anniversary. 50th anniversary greetings going out to Bev and Wayne White of McIvers. Happy anniversary to Reg and Bernice Pelly, who just celebrated their 62nd anniversary. Happy 52nd anniversary to Jack and Bride Travers of Northern Bay, who are celebrating on July 28th. Happy 56th anniversary today to Maurice and Fern Simmons in Portland. Wishing Percy and Loretta Benoit a happy 62nd anniversary. They're in Conception Bay. Happy 61st anniversary to Bob and Judy Curlew from Lewisport, who celebrated on Monday. Congratulations to Whit and Lynn Keane, who are marking 60 years of marriage. Wishing Max and Joan Burt of St. John's a very happy 65th anniversary this week. Happy 65th anniversary also to Lawrence and Marina Penny of Lewisport. Bob and Gay White of Carmenville are celebrating 60 years of marriage this week. Max and Shirley Stacy of Badger are celebrating 55 years of wedded bliss. Congratulations. Happy anniversary to Lloyd and Glenda Pike. Yesterday was their 60th anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to Michael and Diane Clements of Paradise. Wishing Ed and Maxine Higdon of New Harbor a happy 55th anniversary on July 24th. Happy anniversary to Peter and Shirley Knight, who are celebrating 50 years together tomorrow. Special greetings from family and friends to Shirley and Edward Cokes, who celebrated their 61st anniversary on Monday. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Rhoda Drake, who turns 92 on Tuesday. Wishing Effie McCauley of Glace Bay a happy 99th birthday. Happy birthday to Reginald Pelly of Harcourt, who celebrates his 90th birthday today. Happy 90th birthday also to Joyce Mullet in Mount Pearl. Wishing Headley Collins of Glovertown a very happy birthday. Happy 91st birthday to Patricia Young of Grand Falls, Windsor. She celebrates tomorrow. Ray Cooper of Queens Cove is celebrating his 93rd birthday on Sunday. Happy 91st birthday today to Alex Powell in Corner Brook. Happy birthday to Marion Han in Corner Brook. She turns 101 this Sunday. And another big one, happy 103rd birthday to Emily Coates in Gander. Greetings from her 15 children, and they tell us over 200 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. Wow. That's incredible.
What a milestone.
Yeah, but like 15, she has 15 children and about 200 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. That is a big family. Can you imagine that family gathering?
Family dinner. How do you feed everybody?
Have to go to Legion, rent out the whole Legion for it. My goodness. Okay, so the weekend is here.
It is.
It's looking pretty good.
Yep. Saturday is going to be a beautiful day. Sunday, though, it should be a decent day. We might have some showers moving in, or a chance of them for some places. And then Monday, we don't even want to talk about Monday yet.
Okay.
But everyone will be back to work, so it'll be fine. So
That's
we won't
right.
be thinking about the weather. Let's take a look at how it's going to shape up there. Saturday evening, you can see there over the island, we still have a beautiful day, picking up a little bit more clouds into the evening on Saturday. And as we move on into Sunday in the overnight, we'll start to pick up a few showers for the west coast and possibly for the northern peninsula as well, and some more cloud moving in across Labrador. And when we take a look at Sunday evening, by that time of day, we'll have some more cloud over the island of Newfoundland. Taking a look at our temperatures now, it'll be a decent day here for St. John's at 25 and 20 down in Marystown. Some sun and cloud for you folks. Picking up a chance of a shower through central Newfoundland. Temperatures in your mid-20s there to upper 20s, but we see some showers there for the southwest and west coast. Temperature between 21 and 18 degrees, and about the same for St. Anthony there as well. Picking up some showers across Labrador, possibly with our temperatures anywhere from 11 in Nain to 21 in Cartwright. Moving on now to Sunday, we see some of these showers starting to push across the island. So we're going to on Monday have some showers really for the island, pretty well for everybody right across the province there. We see 20 in St. John's and just a couple of degrees warmer through central with some 40% chance of showers really for most places, and some showers possible through much of Labrador as well. You know, down almost into the single digits for coastal Labrador, 10, 11 degrees for you folks, 15 in Happy Valley Goose Bay and 13 in Labrador City. But you might be the folks that get to see the sun because you get a little sun icon there. Taking a look at our 5-day now, Saturday, Sunday looks great for eastern. Seeing that precipitation move in on Monday and Tuesday. Then for central and western Newfoundland, it looks like we'll pick up some precipitation Sunday, Monday, Tuesday possibly. And it looks like it will be a 40% chance of showers for the west, 40% chance there for central Newfoundland, but Saturday and Wednesday looking good for everybody with your temperatures in the 20s. Now, as we take a look at western Labrador, you've got a 40% chance of showers right across the board from Saturday right through to Wednesday. Your temperatures dipping back Sunday and Monday there, but starting to warm up on Tuesday and Wednesday. For eastern Labrador, it looks like we'll have a 40% chance of showers for much of your week. Wednesday clearing out for you guys with a much warmer day there for everybody. Now I'll leave you with this, our weather photo of the day that comes from Labrador City near Smoky Mountain. And this photo comes to us from Larry Jenkins. And Larry wanted to know what these clouds were. And they're noctilucent clouds, according to Rob Carroll from the Gander Weather Office.
Noctilucent?
Noctilucent. They have tiny ice crystals very high in the atmosphere. It happens usually in the summer and higher latitudes. And so they're on the horizon, so you can't see them. But I guess this picture was just taken in the right moment, in the right way, so that you could actually see them because they're normally not visible the way normal clouds.
Smoky Mountain?
Smoky Mountain near Labrador City.
It looks kind of like smoke.
It does.
Coming up from the mountain.
Yeah.
Great shot.
It's a beautiful picture.
Oh, great information too, Heather.
Thank you.
Like learning things about clouds. All right, well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for filling in for Ashley tonight, and you're going to be with us next week as well.
Well.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.
Good night.